I believe that leadership starts with self leadership. And by that I mean that we can only lead people as far as we have gone. We cannot fake it. Honestly, we can try, but it never works because people can very easily tell what is real and not real.
Hey, Anna, do you think people are listening?
Yeah, why wouldn't they be? We make business so fun.
Don't we? In that case, let's introduce ourselves.
Hey, it's Anna and Selena and the 15-ish minute coffee chat podcast. Talking business doesn't have to be boring, so dive into our coffee chat conversations and learn something new for your small business.
All right, go. This is what we do. This is what we do.
Hey guys, what is authentic leadership? Today we're learning more about conscious decision-making, ethical leadership, and the harmony between personal well-being and professional success with our guest, Maria Kellis. Welcome to the 15-ish minute podcast with Anna and Selena. 12 seasons of helping entrepreneurs and small business owners build more profitable businesses. That is a mouthful today for some reason.
I know, it's because you switched it up.
I did.
So we normally live stream, but because we're not streaming live, we're doing pre-records. It gets to be a mouthful.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited for today's conversation, Anna. Tell everybody what our call to action is.
Absolutely. All right. So we're talking about authentic leadership today. So what I want to know from our listening audience is, are you an authentic leader? Okay, so what does that even mean? Think about it. What would your definition be? We're going to talk about it more with our guest today, Maria Kellis, but I want you to think about what you consider to be authentic leadership and let us know in the comments right now. Just drop it in that chat. Do you think you're an authentic leader? I don't know what the opposite of that would be, though. An inauthentic leader,
right?
Who's like a little shady. I don't know. I don't want to work for that person, but
no. And it's always, you know what? It's always so disappointing too when you realize, like, maybe a leader you looked up to is not who they are. You and I have dealt with that just with people we know, and it's just, man, I believed in your values and your morals, and I followed you because your leadership style was so authentic.
Yes. And then, boom, they smashed. Yeah.
And then you disappointed us, and now I'm crying in a corner of my room because I just was like, what is up and or down now?
Don't be afraid to be friends with Anna and Selena. We're not that judgy, I promise. Okay.
Wait, did that come off judgy? Oh my gosh, it's late. I think maybe
that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't happen very often. Let's just make sure everybody knows we're not judging you based on your actions every moment of every day. No. But there is, if you purport to be something, I hope it's authentic, right? Be your authentic self in your brand and your personality in your home life and your friendships, all those kinds of things. That's all we're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay.
We better get going because
thank you for clearing that up. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, Anna is going to read our guest bio so we can just get into the conversation.
All right. So we have Maria Kellis. She is a leadership coach, intuitive business consultant, inspirational speaker, and best-selling author. Holding a background in engineering and management from MIT, she has co-founded several technology companies in the U.S. and held high-level positions within the Greek government. Now, via her global company, Maria Kellis International, she centers her efforts on empowering business leaders to bolster their leadership capabilities and develop services and products that echo their genuine voice. Maria divides her time between Thailand, which is where she's tuning in, like joining us from today. So Thailand, Greece, Cyprus, Bali, and the United States. She is a deeply passionate person and about guiding individuals towards achieving a life marked by independence and freedom. So we are really excited to invite Maria to come up and join us all the way from Thailand today, which just so you know, is like the opposite side of the world. And Selena, you're speaking, but your mic's off, by the
Oh,
way.
was I? I know. I was just excited. It wasn't like important. Let's bring Marie up here, and like Anna said, she's literally we're on the opposite side of the world
Yeah.
of each other.
Hi, Maria.
Hello from my side of the globe.
Right
So
here,
it's
we're gonna sandwich
6:20.
you.
Yeah, it's 6:20 p.m. in Texas. What time is it where you're at right now?
It's 7:20 a.m. the following
First of
day.
all, thank you for getting up that early because I don't do anything before 10 a.m. And I'm not saying I get up at 10 a.m., but my brain does not function properly before then.
Oh, I
I've
see.
realized as a leader.
And I understand, and at the same
Yeah.
time, given my practices, I usually get up early and have my morning practice. So
Oh,
it's in my old age, I find that having a morning practice is one of those best things. I used to remember people saying, "Oh, I get up at 5," and I was like, "Are you crazy? I'd never stay up that late." And then now I'm the one who gets up at 5 and has a morning practice. But I feel that this is how I set the boundaries, and so how I set the stone for an amazing day ahead. So I'm excited to be here,
Ooh,
and for me, it's a perfect time. Thank you for having me.
that's so great. Okay,
Yeah.
before we go in, we all know we all love to do our coffee cup selfie with our guests. So I'm gonna raise my cup, and I know Maria has one too.
A little mama bear
Right.
cup going on right now. It's
Okay,
all water.
on three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's do this, Maria. We're gonna move you into what we like to call the power position. Oh, I love your elephant and
Ooh.
your flowers
No,
behind.
beautiful.
Yes, very
Yeah.
Thai. So Thailand, when you come here, you will see elephant statues everywhere. It's one of the signs of divinity, and all the temples have them. And it's somebody gave it as a gift to me, and it even has a little bell.
Oh,
I don't know if you
fun.
can hear it, and it's one of my favorite things from Thailand. And the little flowers are also very Thai. So
Oh,
Oh,
I love. Okay, for anybody listening to our podcast, Maria has this gorgeous gold elephant like vase with a gold bell like in its stomach area, and then these beautiful just like flowers that are green and purple. I'm
yeah.
guessing
Are
are
they?
those orchids?
I was
yeah,
just going to ask the same thing. Yes,
Yeah.
they're
me too.
orchid. I've never been able to grow an orchid that beautiful. Like mine.
If it makes sense,
Yeah.
here they cost a bunch of orchids like this cost 15 baht, which is like less than $1, because they use them daily in the morning practice for temples. So I couldn't believe it when I came here. I will go to the orchid farms, and I was like, how? But this is why orchids grow here. They grow wild. Like all you need is a little bit of place where it starts growing, and then you have an orchid bunch.
Yeah. And so, on a completely unrelated to our topic note, go travel the world because you will find amazing places like that. Go travel the world.
Absolutely.
If there's, yes.
I have been to over 50 countries at this point, and I keep traveling. And one thing I have found is whatever I took for granted is not. It's
Mhm.
every place is different, and every place I have been has an incredible story, an incredible distinguishing factor that allows us to have some very exciting new things that we never thought were possible.
Yeah.
Hmm. I feel like
We could have changed the show
Anna.
to the importance of understanding all the cultures, right? But
No, but I think that must contribute also to leadership. Just compiling because you're so open to cultures, that means you're so open to learning new things to make you even better and where you evolve.
so we really only have one question, but based on Maria's intake form, it's got 4 parts to it that we're going to cover today. So our question is, what are the 4 areas of authentic leadership? Do you want to start us off with the first one, Maria?
I believe that leadership starts with self leadership. And by that, I mean that we can only lead people as far as we have gone. We cannot fake it. Honestly, we can try, but it never works because people can very easily tell what is real and not real. And so being authentic means that we are ourselves. Does that mean that we're perfect? Oh, no, definitely not. But what it means is that we are doing our best based on our principles, our values of who we're being. And so when we are talking about being authentically ourselves, it really always starts with coming within, speaking from a place of power, speaking from a place of authenticity, only can be done when we are okay with ourselves. If we're trying to be liked, if we're trying to be nice, it doesn't work. I always tell people I'm extremely kind, and people always tell me, "Oh my God, you're so nice." I'm like, I'm not very nice, I'm very kind. And that means that I know how to set my boundaries. When things are crossing over and they're not okay, I'm like, no, this is not okay. And sometimes, I guess, as we were speaking before, sometimes it comes off as that person is not okay, but no, that means that you're standing up for yourself.
Oh, that's so good. Selena, you
That
wanted to.
sorry, that hit me like because you're so right. And I think I've evolved as I've grown older. Yeah, I'm almost 50 and I realize I'm getting to this point. But Anna and I had that conversation of just we're discussing something about myself. And you're so right about just setting the boundaries, you
Yeah,
know.
and I think it plays really well into what you said was your second area of authentic leadership, which is aligning values with business goals. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about this, Maria?
Absolutely. So our business is, we have goals, and we are all used to KPIs, and we're saying what reflects really our value. So this is another pet project of mine, is to show people that we can be kind and at the same time be in business, because business was set up to make money. It's not a charitable organization. So we are here to have abundance. We are here to be the best versions of ourselves. And at the same time, we're here to give a message and, and a product or a service that resonates with our values. Oh,
Yeah.
we are noticing.
Something that you said
Yeah.
that strikes me too, Maria, is that it's not just about your personal values. There needs to be a humanity kind of
Yeah.
concept that's in there as well, that it's not just this is what I believe in, and that
Yeah.
ability to think bigger than ourselves and apply that into our business practices. I really appreciate that one for sure. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And Maria, Anna and I interviewed two founders of, is it B Corp with your business? Is it B Corp or C Corp? Why am I blanking on that? But it's a sustainable business practice. And so in order to be certified, and then that it shows that you are ethical, moral, and your practices as a corporation is sustainable, you actually have to go through all of these criterias to say, hey, so it's not just a check on the block. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Anna? Like now,
I
like
do.
remember?
I
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
It was a few
yeah,
seasons ago, but yeah,
yeah,
and it was fascinating because there's not a lot of businesses, first of all, that will say, I want to do this, right? And so it's almost like also to encourage people to say, hey, as a consumer, really evaluate who you are
yeah,
buying from as a
yeah.
consumer. And yeah, and I think that first one, self awareness, plays so heavily into making sure you even know
Yes.
what your value set is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. Okay, what's our
Absolutely.
third?
And if I can add something, in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
old business paradigm, we used to have this win-lose scenarios and negotiation, right? And those are absolutely not sustainable, but also they assume that in order for me to win, you have to lose. And for years, we have been encouraging people, and of course, I'm one of them that encourages people to have win scenarios. So is it good for me, and is it good for you? Because those are real. If I make a deal where it's good for me, but it's not good for you, that is not a deal that is really profitable for the world. And now I'm at this stage where I encourage people to ask three questions. Is it good for me? Is it good for you? And is it good for the world? Because
Mm.
then we'll really take care of all the business part. Is because
That's
somebody has to advocate for that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's our t-shirt from, and so every guest we have, they say something that is poignant in our minds, right? We're declaring that someday we're going to create a t-shirt shop. That's yours right there. Is it good for me? Is it good for you? Is it good for the world? What, you can't get three better questions. Okay, let's jump into number 3. So, after self awareness and then aligning values with business goals, we have emotional intelligence and team dynamics. Talk to us a little bit about emotional intelligence.
Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, I graduated from MIT and this law school at MIT, so very high level education. And my first job out of MIT was working for the MIT Media Lab. And I almost feel that this was another person that was doing all this. As you notice in my story, I have a period where I end up maybe burning out. I end up in a wheelchair. For 18 months, I had to learn how to walk again. And this all led me to understand that it's not just the beginning, it's everything. The reason I'm bringing this up is because when we are aligning with authenticity, with ourselves, through our values, then we can talk about emotional intelligence. And I can tell you right now that 20 years ago, I did not feel any emotions. I was trained to be a little robot. Hi, it's Maria. But making the right decisions with the mind does not mean that we're making the right decisions overall. Emotional intelligence to me is being aware of my emotions and really understanding that I can actually have control over my emotions.
Yeah.
And so emotional intelligence is of course two-part. One is understanding ourselves and also understanding others, and coming from a place where we are understanding that emotions are part of the equation. And in an age of AI, where more and more of what we do is not about knowledge, but it's about leadership, it's about decision making, being truly able to understand what is this causing. There's layers to everything. It's not just, oh, black and white. That doesn't exist. There's colors.
Yeah.
There's lots of scales of gray in
You
between.
know, I'm old enough, Maria, to remember when email first came into play, right? And we had those big conversations about by emailing, we were losing the ability to communicate effectively because people couldn't hear our voices and sense our emotions through our writing. And I remember that being such a big deal. And now it's so commonplace, right? It's like way down the list of things we even worry about at this point. But it really is a big deal to be able to say, I hear you. I hear how you're feeling, not just I hear what you're saying. That you tie those things together, especially as a small business owner. A lot of times if you're working as a solopreneur or by yourself and you're not in a large corporation, you're not dealing with people all day, and you get those feelings of frustration and they come out in an ineffective manner, like
Mm.
who's that going to go on to? It's your clients, the way you're writing something that you're creating, and you may not be realizing that's happening. So I love that idea of think about your emotions. How are they playing into what you're doing as a business owner, and how it affects the people if you do work with a team, or if you use contractors or something like that, how it affects your relationship with them, if you're not taking care of your own emotions very well.
I absolutely. And I have a team that for the last 8 years, I've had a team. And I feel that the days where I'm not feeling well, I'm taking care of me. I say, hey, today it's not a good day to have meetings. Why? Because I know that if I dump my emotions onto them, they're going to go on to have a bad day, bad decisions, bad practices, and we're going to end up in a mess. And this has happened before. It's not because, oh, I magically know that. I've unfortunately learned the hard way. So now if I am upset, and I'm not saying it happens every day, but sometimes I do get upset. Things happen. This is real life. Some people may, I think I'm getting to be known enough that I have even haters at this point. And it affects me, of course. So I'm not going to bring this on to the rest. I'm not going to ask for everybody else to validate me. I take care of my emotions, and it might take me a day or a week or a month, whatever, however big any attack has been, and then I'm back to being me. And
Yeah.
I find that the more I do that, the less anything affects me. What people do, yes, they can, but really, can they? Can they touch me? That's part of being in my power. I'm like, okay, you can do your thing, I'll do my thing. Okay, don't worry about it.
I feel
And
like it's the difference between having raw feelings and having more mature feelings where you're able to really control that process for yourself and how it comes out towards others, and being able to set those boundaries and say
absolutely.
enough for today, or this is not going to happen right now. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I think like it goes back to the self-awareness part in the very beginning too, right? If you also know, hey, I know when this happens, I can't handle it. So I should walk away for a second till I calm down
Yeah.
so that the emotion I do want to present is the more mature one, right? There's situations for me like the raw tiger comes out, but I realize that's not who I like to be ever. And
You
so
do
I need
not.
to walk away.
Yeah. You do not want to see Selena's raw tiger. You do not want to see.
And it's okay to have her. That's the thing, that is the message that I always give to leaders. It's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be scared. Those are human emotions.
That's a great lead into the fourth and final authentic area of authentic leadership, which is adaptability and resilience. Tell us a little bit more about that, how that
Um,
ties in.
Absolutely. I touched upon this my life stories. I end up in a wheelchair. Thankfully, I'm very grateful that right now I can walk. And I do consider that it was a gift that I was able to recover, but it was not a guarantee according to the doctors. I was handicapped for life. And what this showed me for the first time in my life is that we are so dependent on our health. So when we talk about resilience, it's about what can you handle? Because as much as you can handle is what you're going to be able to do in this life. I often hear this saying, "Oh, it's not about how many times you fall, but it's how many times can you stand up." And our strength is saying, "Okay, I just fell flat on my face, and I am still going to find the strength to get up because it is worth it."
It's very interesting. So we had a conversation with another guest from this season that where it was about doing something that we didn't want to do. And she had this kind of like mindset shift thing that she did where she's, do you clean the toilets in your house? Yes. And she's like, is
Right.
that fun? She's like,
Yeah.
sometimes you have to do things that are not fun, right? Sometimes you have
Yeah.
to be able to adapt and be resilient enough to take care of business and in ways that you don't want to do it. It's not joyful, it's not exciting, and it doesn't have to even be a catastrophic or a very serious challenge. It can
Yeah.
even be little things that you feel like burn you out and wear you down because you're not enjoying them. So
Yeah.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
And Maria, you also bring up like this resilient word, right? And Anna and I talk about this all the time. We are military spouses. And with that lifestyle of constantly moving, making new friends, trying to find a new position in the new location that we are in, and then a lot of times being without your spouse because they are deployed and they're not at home. So you're like also a single parent. Being resilient is like our MO, right? Like we have to be resilient because you said something so true, right? You have to be resilient so you can go on, so that you can continue. Because if not, the other option is just going into
What is the other
what,
option?
what is there? Exactly.
I always think of anger as fire. You can't really hold fire in your hands and not get burned. So what are you going to do? You have to deal with that anger. But you can express the anger in ways that are not destructive. We don't have to burn the whole village down to say, "Hey, I'm angry." What if you start a fire and warm everybody up, or create some fire of industry? This is like the whole myth. I'm originally from Greece, and we have the whole myth of Prometheus, where he brought the fire to the humans. So we learn to control fire. What does that mean? Is that something we have the ability to have power, raw power, fire, and use it for industrial purposes. In antiquity, this was more about having a hearth in the home, but
Yeah.
but fire is what changed humans from having a nomadic society to having an agricultural based society millennia ago, because suddenly we were able to take that fire and create something. So it doesn't have to be destructive, it can be very creative. When I am angry, I don't need to burn the whole world down. It's the time to be in action. So when I find myself being angry, I have some tasks that I really don't like to do, but when I'm angry, I get them done fast because, oh boy, do not stand in my way. So I have a list. I'm like, okay, that's my angry list, right? Things that I do not like to do, but I'm pissed enough to do them. That's when I do them.
Oh, that's hilarious. I have an angry music playlist. I totally understand what you're talking about, right? Like but it lets you process those emotions. It lets you process through it. I really love that thought, that mindset shift you just said again, right? Like anger, like fire, does not have to burn it down. It can actually create warmth. And so how can you shift that, right? How can you shift that powerful emotion you're feeling? This has been so good, Maria.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes. We want to share the toolkits. We have not one, but two toolkits that Maria is going to share. So I'm going to bring those up real fast so that Maria can tell you all about them. Let's talk about the first one, Maria. What is this? Why should somebody have this?
The 4 steps in the Empower Method is having a vision, having a setting an intention, letting go. Second step is the letting go. Can you let go? Can you not hold on to especially the bad things that happen, especially things that your mind is judging as not good enough? And it teaches the Empower Method, which allows people to really get empowered in themselves and in their leadership.
Come on, guys. I would want that. You know what I mean? We will make sure to put the link. It's on her website, but we'll make sure to put the link to this course in our podcast and YouTube description, as well as the next toolkit. We'll quickly share what it is. But again, this is the Learn How to Lead Your Company Through Vision and Purpose course on Maria's website. And then we have this fabulous ebook that Maria has just told us she's created, but the AI and the Yin and Yang Enhancing Leadership, Timeless Principles Meet Tomorrow's Tech ebook. What do people get with this if they get it and grab it and all the things?
So this is an ebook that we're sharing, and it's a resource that I created this ebook, and fun note, I used AI to help me create it. And instead of taking me like months to write it, it took me less than 2 weeks. And yes, maybe there are some rules that need to be set as people are creating them, but more and more, our values, our principle are going to determine how we're going to bring this into the world. And this is a time to reflect on that. This ebook is talking about very practical things that we can do to use the AI in our company, and also very deep questions like, what are we going to use it for?
Yeah, so we're going to have the link for both of these opportunities on the blog at annaandselena.com or in the description. Now this is where you can find our guest, Maria Kellis. She's got a website, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can see all the different locations right here. Maria, what's the one place you hang out the most? Which of these?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. So there you hear it. So go find and connect with Maria on LinkedIn. That's where you're going to meet with her in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And because I have a team, I have to say LinkedIn is one of those places where you actually will find me. So
yeah, I love that. All right. So thank you so much for joining us.
Anna and Maria, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Selena, thank you. It was an honor and pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thank you for your beautiful conversation and questions.
Oh.
We appreciate you. So come and find us at annaandselena.com. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and all your favorite podcast platforms. We look forward to seeing you at the next 15-ish minute coffee chat. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.